Today, we're going to learn about triads. First, we'll define the term chord. A chord is 3 or more notes played simultaneously. A triad is a 3-note chord made up of 2 stacked thirds. There's a third at the bottom, 1, 2, 3, and a third at the top, 1, 2, 3. A triad will always have all 3 notes on lines or all 3 notes on spaces. Let's name the parts of a triad. The bottom note is called the root, the middle note is called the third, and the top note is called the fifth. A triad retains its identity no matter what order the notes are presented in. Looking at the music below, these may not look like the same triad, but they are in fact. Take a listen to see how they are similar. These are all the same triad because they all contain the same 3 notes, A, C, and E. The parts of the triad keep the same names no matter what order the notes are presented in. So A is still the root in each example, C is still the third in each example, and E is still the fifth in each example. When the root of the triad is the lowest note, we call that root position. So in the first 2 chords, they are considered root position chords. There are 4 types of triads, which is all possible combinations of major thirds and minor thirds. The first is the major triad, which has a major third on the bottom and a minor third on the top. The second kind of triad is the minor triad, which has a minor third on the bottom and a major third on the top. For this class, you only need to know major and minor triads. So remember that the major triad has a major third on the bottom, and a minor triad has a minor third on the bottom. We'll talk about the other 2 types just for your information. There's also a diminished triad, which is 2 minor thirds, and an augmented triad, which is 2 major thirds. Here's a fun graphic that can help you remember how triads are built. So let's talk about how to identify triads. You identify a triad as major or minor by identifying the quality of the thirds in the triad. You name the triad by the root and the quality. Here's our first example. So we have A on the bottom and C is the third. So we're going to determine the quality between A and C. So we need our keyboard, we find A and C, and we count the number of half steps. 0, 1, 2, 3. That's a minor third. Now, let's determine the quality between C and E. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. That's a major third. So, since there is a minor third on the bottom, this is a minor triad. And since A is the root, we call it an A minor triad. Let's look at another example. Here we have B flat and D as the bottom third. Let's find them on the keyboard, B flat and D, and we're going to count the number of half steps. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. So between B flat and D is a major third. Now we'll count the number of half steps between D and F. 0, 1, 2, 3. That's a minor third. So we have a major third on the bottom, which means this is a major triad. And B flat is the root, so this is a B flat major triad. Now let's practice writing a triad. For example, say we're given an A flat major triad to write. Step 1 is to write 2/3 above the root. 1, 2, 3. We're going to write a C. And 1, 2, 3. We're going to write an E. Step 2 is to count half steps between the pitches to determine what accidentals are needed. So let's get out our keyboard. Since this is a major triad, we need a major third on the bottom. So we're going to find A flat and C and count the number of half steps. 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. There's 4 half steps, which is a major third. So we're good. Now let's look at the number of half steps between C and E. We have 0. We need a minor third here. We have 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 half steps, which is a major third, but we do need a minor third. So we're going to take the E down a half step to E flat in order to make it a minor third. We add in that flat, and now we have a minor third. Note that we never mix sharps and flats in major and minor triads. You use only flats or only sharps. That is why we used E flat instead of D sharp. That's your intro to triads. We'll continue to talk about them in future lectures.